like to say from the schools that I have encountered thus far about other bushy bones is the foreigner walks into the class, they give class for about 50 minutes and then they walk out again. So other than that 50 minutes, the children don't really get a lot of exposure to the foreigner, him or herself. The difference about Greenland is that each foreigner has his or her own classroom. So the children come in and they spend several hours each day with the foreigner. Break times are included with this time. The foreigner will go outside with the classroom, and even as the children play, the foreigner listens and is able to instruct them to speak English whilst playing and improve their pronunciation at the same time. The advantage that Greenland offers is that it has a lot longer time period teaching the children English from a foreigner's perspective than other bushy bones do, which is compacted to 50 minutes. Greenland has an excellent reading program with the children. The children learn to read even from a very young age. The 6-year-olds begin by reading simple words like cat or dog, 3-letter words. And as their skills progress, the length of the words increase, where they learn 4 or 5-letter words. Eventually the words are combined to form longer and longer sentences. So even at the end of their first year or their first semester at Greenland, they should be able to read basic sentences. As they get older, the sentences progressively get longer until the point that they have to be able to read a paragraph or even an entire story. At this point, once they're able to read an entire story, we start testing the comprehension as well to make sure they understand what they are reading. And simply saying a string of words doesn't mean anything. You need to know what you are saying. As I said, the children begin with 3-letter words. So for instance, C-A-T makes cat. So it's rather important at that level, when children are about 6 years of age, to give them books to read, but the books must be full of pictures. The more pictures it has, the more the children can imagine a world of their own and then read these simple little words in connection to the pictures. As they get older, the pictures will systematically get less, but the words will get more and more and longer, at which point the children are expected to understand and fill in the pictures with their thoughts, with the pictures that their minds can create. They have to think and thus build up their reading. Their reading skills at Greenland are really tested, because even from 6 years of age, the children have to read one by one to the teacher. So this varies from once a day to twice a day, or even 3 times a day if times allow. The children have to read to the foreign teacher, and the teacher checks up on their pronunciation, as well as their sentence construction, as well as the speed at which they are reading. If the parents have any questions on how can I help my child read better, I would recommend begin with a book with a lot of pictures in it. That is the basis. Once your child is fully functional with the basics of the pictures, you can move up one level, make it a bit more complicated, a little less pictures. Personally, I was very fond of fiction books. There are a lot of movies available out there, so you can even find a book that connects with a movie. For instance, Tarzan. It's a movie made by Disney. It's very fun to watch, but there is a book available that children can read to understand the story, and then at the end, as a reward, you can let the children watch the video to see if what they read in the book connects to what they see in the video. In addition to that, if you feel your child's English is excellent, but you want to increase it even more, you could, if you wanted, if your child is really good, you could give them old English books. These are books that were written in the 1800s or even the 1700s. It's a very old form of English, and it's quite difficult. So often the children will read an old English book and they will not understand what's happening. But once they read a modern day English book again, they will find, oh, suddenly it's so easy. I personally read Pride and Prejudice. That's a book written by Jane Austen in the 1800s. Old English, but it's a beautiful story if you can understand what's happening. And once you finish reading an old English book, suddenly modern English is so fun and so easy to read. So if you feel your child is already very good at English, you can improve it one step further by giving them old English.
In the end,
here I'd like to say Greenland, as you can see, has sufficient materials available that the children can use, ranging from both the pictures to the fiction, as I said, get different levels. So I would advise, come here, ask the teachers in the vicinity, can I have a look? They will bring you to this room without a moment's doubt, and then you can look for yourself at all the different books. I mean, Cat in the Hat, this is a world famous book. I've encountered it on just about every continent. So for instance, it's well stocked. So anything the children require, they can find it